back again. We got Neil Shaw and Ian Walsh. UFC 269, Oliveira Poirier coming in hot this weekend. We kept the fucking train rolling, dude. We're on fire, dude. I don't get what's going on, but I've been making money for the past probably 6-7 weeks now, which is a big streak for me. It's not like I haven't won 7 weeks at all, but 7 weeks in a row is a pretty good streak for me. We made out pretty good last week, huh?
Yeah, 7 weeks in a row is a pretty good streak for anyone, I would say. So your picks were on point, man. You picked a lot of underdogs, and they hit right on point. And let's keep that going this week because the card's even better this week.
Yeah, I came out on I rarely do, but I came out on the good end of a judge's robbery, in my opinion, this weekend with William Knight. I had William Knight, Aldo, and Jamal Hill by KO in a parlay together, and that $20,
parlay,
yeah, $20 won me like $300. So that was my real dopamine dump for the night. But I think we can do something similar with this weekend. Now the odds I don't think are as favorable as they were for me last weekend. But if you don't mind, I'm going to jump in with my fifth pick here. Looking at it all, I had to find, like we always do, I had to find ways to make money on some of these bigger favorites. So my number 5, least confident but still making a play, is going to be a Brazilian finisher parlay here with Silva and Nunes to both get a finish. We got Bruno Silva over Jordan Wright. Kind of a mentality there. I'm going to go with fade Jordan Wright for the most part, you know. It would have been cool if his story was a little different, but he's the Beverly Hills Ninja, and it hasn't really gone as cool as that story could have gone. Everyone kind of didn't want to see the pretty boy succeed, but it would have been cool if he was always wheel kicking people or doing flashy stuff the whole time. But that is faded as he got to the UFC. And Bruno Silva is a dude, not the most UFC experience, but some good outside experience. He fought Alexander Slamenko in M1. Who's a dude who's always kind of been a name floating around those outside the UFC promotions, who's been a tough guy to deal with. But Silva passed 2 wrestling tests early, but he's passed so many of striking tests previously in his career. So, and he's just so dangerous on his. He just has so much power, even when he's tired, KOs people. I just love Silva. The only X factor here is going to be Jordan Wright in the first round. It's always dangerous with some spinny shit or some knees. But I'm just way on Silva to at least finish a tired Jordan Wright if he gets through the initial flurries of stuff. And then parlaying that with Nunes, don't really have to say much about Amanda Nunes to get the finish here. I think with all the shit talk with Juliana Pena, hopefully she might be a little more invigorated and willing to get the finish. I think Pena is going to have a better performance than her history has shown in her other fights, but I think it's going to be no match for Amanda Nunes. And that's coming in at plus 105, the Brazilian finishers parlay. Bruno Silva, Amanda Nunes, both to get a win by finish.
I love how you come up with the names for your parlays. I got to start doing that too. Like, they always have a name. I love it.
Right.
So I was thinking about parlaying Nunes by finish on to every pick I had this weekend because this is gonna happen. There's no way Pena survives 5 and beats Nunes. There's no way that happens. Nunes is gonna win that fight within 5. I'd say within 3 as well. But you can parlay that on anything. And on the other pick that you picked, who else did you pick? No,
Bruno Silva.
Bruno Silva, yeah. So I had Bruno Silva in his last fight as well, and he kind of struggled in the first 2 rounds, but like first round I think, and then he had a standing TKO. So I really like Bruno Silva in this fight too, and I have a play on this fight as my number 2 pick, so I'm gonna save up on that. I'll go straight to my number 5 pick here.
Yeah, hold on. One more thing about the Bruno Silva on that last fight. You reminded me that I forgot to say. He got pretty fucked up or wrestled pretty good in the first 2 rounds, but his consistent takedown defense. Andrew Sanchez got tired. He was down 2 rounds very, very clearly in the judges, and he was able to KO Andrew Sanchez after he got gassed. So that gave me the more confidence to pass that. Be able to KO some shit in the later rounds even when he's tired. Sorry, hit me with the 5th pick.
Definitely. No, I have another thing to say about that fight as well.
Okay.
What was I gonna say?
Fucking gotcha, kid.
Yeah, you got me. I'm gonna move on to my number five pick though. So I went to an early fight in the card in the prelims, and that was Randy Costa versus Tony Kelly, and I have got Randy Costa here by KO TKO. Randy Costa here has such good boxing, man. Like he showed it against Giannis in round one. I think he beat Giannis round one, and he kind of hurt him there too. But I think he kind of gasses out. So Tony Kelly does have a chance. That's why it's my number five pick. But Costa's boxing is class. I don't see Tony Kelly taking down Costa or hurting him on the feet at all. I see Costa finishing this in round one, and I'm getting Costa by KO TKO at plus 110. So I see him finishes this within the first 7 minutes of the fight. Even though I also see Tony Kelly is also 37 years old now. He has had some good wins. You know, he survived against Kai Kamaka, but I think Costa striking is just way better than Kai's. And on the feet, this fight's just gonna be done within the first 7 minutes. So I've got him by TKO.
Yeah, Costa was the first guy that jumped off the page to me. However, he slid off my number five pick just because I didn't like the lines on him. I felt like he had steep lines. Even on that TKO, you're getting into at plus money, so you're getting a good return. And if I had to guess what's going to happen in that fight, I'm saying that Randy Costa wins by TKO. I just didn't. Definitely a play I'm going to be making. Just didn't crack my top five because of the values on it. But I totally agree with your analysis of Randy Costa. Just a young killer, and I didn't realize how old Tony Kelly was. So I think you're definitely onto something with that. I'll go to my my number four pick here. Kind of a little bit of a surprise because I thought I'd be more on him than I ended up being, but I'm still going to make a play on him. Coming in at my number four pick here is going to be Cody Garbrandt over Kai Kara France at minus 148 money line. It's going to be his debut at flyweight, which doesn't. I feel like we haven't seen too many people move down to flyweight after being up. I can't.
Yeah.
There's one glaring example that I can't fucking think of. God damn it. Whatever. He's going against Dillashaw. There you go. Exactly.
He looked so skinny. That was like one of the worst wins to ever watch. Dillashaw on the scale and he moved down.
But so I like Garbrandt over Kai Kara France because Kai Kara France honestly only has 2 losses to some of the best dudes in the division in Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval. And so it's not a knock on Kai Kara France at all. I think he's a little bit underrated in the whole flyweight division. But Cody Garbrandt, I think his boxing, it's gonna be a unique situation where he had power at bantamweight. You got to assume that he's going to be able to carry that power down to flyweight. He also has decent wrestling at alpha male. He's shown in some of his fights too that he can have some takedowns to fall back on. I don't think the grappling potential of Kai Kara France is going to be a problem. I think Garbrandt's going to have a pretty significant edge in boxing, not necessarily striking or in the clinch or anything like that, but I think he has a good enough wrestling base also to get him out of some hot water. And Rob Font is just a sick striker. We saw Garbrandt in his last fight. Rob Font, one of the best strikers or boxers, I should say, in the division, and going down in weight class. I don't think he's gonna have to worry about getting hit as hard and that chin going out like he has to worry about at the bantamweight division with some of those sluggers. So I think Garbrandt's going to have the chin to hold up. I think he's going to have the striking advantage, and he's going to have the grappling experience enough to put the fight where he wants it, whether it's defending takedowns or shooting a takedown to steal a round or something. Either way, got Garbrandt as my number 4, minus 148.
Yeah, I was thinking about this fight a lot, actually, because I've never liked Cody Garbrandt because he's so open. He has no striking defense. And I know he was fighting in a higher weight class, but, when he fought against Rob Font just looked so much bigger than him as well, but he was also so much faster. And now moving down in weight class, I would see the guys getting even faster than they were at a higher weight class. So I give the speed advantage, even though Garbrandt is so quick on his feet, he's so, quick with his boxing. I would give him a less of an advantage in this weight class. The bet I was thinking about at this fight was over 2.5 rounds or maybe a fight to go the distance. I don't see any of these guys. Garbrandt has the power. I get it. If he catches Kai Kara France in the right move, he could knock him out. But I don't see that happening in this fight. So I was thinking over 2.5 rounds, but it didn't make my top 5 for sure.
Yeah, one thing that I forgot to add that gave me a little more confidence on Garbrandt in that Font fight is I think he did pretty good, decent in the first round and a half, maybe 2 rounds. That speed advantage didn't become so apparent until the later rounds of the fight because you're totally
The
right.
later rounds,
Yeah,
yeah.
like Font was just like schooling him in the later rounds. But that was a five. That was 5 5s. This is 3 rounds.
That
So I
was
was
a 5 round.
thinking, hopefully, I expect Garbrandt to maybe fade a little bit towards the third or end of the second. But I'm confident in those first bunches. But yeah, not the for sure not a lock by any means.
Definitely not. Also, I'll move on to my number 4 pick now, which is Alex Perez versus Matt Snell. I think I've taken Perez by KO TKO here at plus 180. So Perez in his last fight, he got stubbed by the champion. It was a title fight, and Figueiredo would have pieced him up on the feet as well. He was going to lose that fight anyways. I think he kind of knew that before he started the fight, and it was just a weird scramble that they got into, and he got a submission hold out of him. But like Perez has fought so much, such a better competition level. Like the level of competition he's faced is so much higher than Chanel. And I feel like Chanel's only path to victory in this fight was to take Perez down and sub him out. But I don't see Perez. His takedown defense is quite good, and I don't see Chanel take him down at all. And Perez has so much power on the feet. Like he's won like I think 7 of his fights in round 1 by KO TKO. So I'm pretty confident that Perez keeps his fight standing and finishes it before it ends. Chanel's kind of open too. His defense is not the best. He's kind of chinny as well. He's been knocked out before, and I see Perez doing the same in this fight.
Yeah, I think Perez is a little unfortunate situation after his championship fight
His loss.
with Figueiredo because they immediately had the Brandon Moreno fight. Like I think 2 weeks after, if you remember, it was like
2 weeks, yeah.
one of the
Yep.
quickest turnarounds in a championship defenses or a championship fights. And then that started that Moreno. They had the rematch. Now Moreno takes the belt. Now they're having the trilogy, and everyone totally forgets that Alex Perez fought for the belt at one point,
Yeah, exactly.
which is really unfortunate because he was on a sick run or a very good run before that, beating two kind of staples of or actually just one staple. Now I see it, and just Jussier Formiga lost to Joseph Benavidez, but before that it was all green in his category.
He
So
was running through, yeah.
I liked Perez. I didn't discover the TKO prop. Maybe if I did a little more research or a little more thought into that, I might have stumbled under that. But I saw the minus 300 something money line, and after doing a little research, I thought might not be a play that I can find the most value in, but definitely a guy I'll add to a parlay or two because I'm really confident no matter what he gets out of there with a win.
Definitely.
All right, that'll take me to my 3, which is going to be a lady. There's a lady on the fight. It's Miranda Maverick over Erin Blanchfield. Erin Blanchfield had a big win over a debut gal, Aspinall. What the hell was her name? Sarah Alpar. Sorry. She had a little. I know about her just because Jake Paul ended up giving her money for something because she was like upcoming MMA person, and it was like some type of movement or comment on how the MMA fighters do not get paid what they're supposed to. But with all that being said, I don't think she's the best fighter by any means. Lost her 2 fights in the UFC so far. I think she got cut after that, and that was Erin Blanchfield's debut victory was over her. I think she thinks she knocked some of the octagon jitters or the rust off, and has kind of got to think she can feel what the UFC is all about and what that caliber is all about. But Miranda Maverick, I think, has actually done that. Fighting girls like Jillian Robertson, Macy Barber. I think she got robbed in her last fight against Macy Barber. Dr. Stoppage shout out with her elbows against Liana Jojua. I think she's just a different beast, and she's got decent, or I think more than decent odds at minus 148. Or sorry, that was my Garbrandt odds. She's minus 143. Sorry. And I think that's good odds on her over Erin Blanchfield. Erin Blanchfield's going to have a little bit of a reach advantage, and I think maybe even a slight technical boxing advantage. But Miranda Maverick can take it to the ground. She can do submissions. She's deadly with the elbows. inside, showed some decent combinations. I think she has to work on her defense a little bit. But with all that being said, I love the odds on Miranda Maverick at money line -143 as my number 3 pick.
So this I'm going straight into the main card. It's the main card. It's the third last fight of the night. We've got Geoff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. So in this fight, Geoff Neal in his last fight against Stephen Thompson. You knew he was going to lose that fight. Thompson's just too good on his feet, and Geoff Neal is very technical as well. But he kind of waits for the right moment. He waits for the opponent to come in and then strike. He's a counter puncher. Like, he'll move around and then strike real hard. He's got so much power in those hands. Hands of steel. Like that's Geoff Neal. And on the other side, Ponzinibbio, I feel like he's kind of a scrappy fighter. He gets his knockouts by getting into scrambles. And I think that is what Geoff Neal wants him to do. He wants to get him up close. He wants him to get open and get strike. Just like throw 3 punches, but Geoff Neal's going to take one and throw such a large punch that he's going to knock out Ponzinibbio. So I'm pretty confident that Geoff Neal's going to win this fight. So I'm getting him at money line at -110 and by KO TKO at +145. So I'm not really sure which one I'm going to take, but I really like Geoff Neal here in this position against Ponzinibbio. Again, seeing Ponzinibbio get knocked out by Jin Liang in his second last fight. And he had a decent fight against Miguel Baeza, but it was quite close in the end. I think Geoff Neal has fought the better recent competition. He's fought Wonderboy Thompson, Neil Magny. Ponzinibbio's beaten Magny, but that was in the past. But I think after all that I've said, Neal takes this victory by either KO TKO or by money line. If you get him by money line at -110, I think that's a great price as well.
Hey, did you hear about his why he's been in the news last week? That's what took me off thinking about betting him for anything. 5 days ago, he was arrested for driving while intoxicated and possessing a firearm. Went to jail, spent the night or whatever. And Dana was like, his arrest won't have anything, won't play, he'll still fight, it'll be okay. But I was thinking, damn, I wonder what the fuck Geoff Neal's doing, driving while intoxicated with the fucking firearm. I don't remember if it was unregistered or anything, but it swayed me a little bit, to be honest, in thinking how.
Yeah, definitely. If I'd known that, he wouldn't be in my top 5 for sure. But I would kind of wait on the odds to move now, because I'd see people, looking at this. Even though if you're going to take Geoff Neal now, just wait for the odds to move, because people are going to hear about this and then bet Ponzinibbio on the other side. What the fuck is Geoff Neal doing outside? Is he training or is he drinking?
But also at the same time, I had it's split into two things. It really I did not make the play because I necessarily thought that he was taking this super. The one part of my brain was like, he's not disciplined, he's not doing this. Then the other part of my brain is, it's fucking cage fighting, and we've seen the John Jones shit, we've seen the guys who retire and all the shit that they get into, or the wild stories of the kind of journeyman in the UFC they don't really remember, but robbed the bank, had the most famous bank heist for the most money in history or whatever. I forget that guy's name, but some dude, it's a sick documentary. You should watch it sometime. Old UFC fighter robbed some bank for the most money that anyone's ever robbed a bank for. But so I was thinking maybe Geoff Neal's, he's a fucking wild man. This is his shit. He's crazy. If you live a life like that, I don't know. Sometimes that Cinderella magic shit happens. So yeah, it could be a great play, but that's the X factors. It made me stay away.
You saying that kind of reminded me of GSP's coach in one of the tough seasons. One of those Thai coaches he had brought over. Have you seen that clip?
Yeah, the drunken master. Jean something. Shit.
I forget his name.
Yeah.
But he just talks about how he drinks and smokes all day and fights these people all night. So, maybe that's Geoff Neal's style as well. You never know. Yeah. But I'm going to stick with this play. So I'm not sure if I'm going to take it, but if I do take it, I'm going to wait till the last minute, because I think the odds will sway towards Ponzinibbio, because this is pretty big news stuff.
All right, that'll push me up to my number 2 pick here. I'm going to go to the main event of the evening. I got the Diamond over Charles Oliveira. You got to love Charles Oliveira. It was sick to watch him win, get the belt. But Dustin Poirier has, not to the same extent, but he's got the American version of Charles Oliveira's story, kind of. Dropped out of middle
That's
school and shit. I don't even know if he was like literate, to be honest with you. Was kind of just dude. Those Louisiana white boys are no fucking joke. That shit is one of the toughest lives you can live in America, and he's blazed his own path with it. You look at Charles Oliveira, holds the record for most finishes in the UFC. We've seen him get finished before, but we also look at who he's been finishing, and his schedule, while super impressive, doesn't line up to Dustin Poirier's, who is goddamn. It's amazing, dude, to look at his last like 10 fights. It's unbelievable to think about.
insane.
It's two McGregors, Dan Hooker, Khabib, Max Holloway, Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje, Anthony Pettis, Eddie Alvarez again. It's like, holy shit, man! You got to go back to 2016 to find a fight where he's not up against one of the top dudes in the divisions. And I think that was even at a different weight class. No, that was at lightweight. But still, I digress. I love Dustin Poirier. The odds aren't too steep. They're not the greatest, but he's at 159. I think he's shown especially at American Top Team, he has good takedown defense. I don't think Charles Oliveira has the best takedowns. He's super dangerous from the bottom and from the top, but you have to someone has to initiate that for him to get it there. I think Poirier is has a much better power and kind of technical shit. Oliveira's going to have a little bit of a reach advantage, I think 2 inches, but I like Poirier's power, just veteran savvy, that championship experience. It's weird to have more championship experience and championship round experience than the champion himself. But I think all of these signs point to Poirier getting it done. You're always going to have the X factor of Oliveira, pulling off, has the most finishes in the UFC, pulling off something amazing, but I like Poirier moneyline -159, and I also like him to win by TKO. I'm definitely going to sprinkle a little prop on that. I don't have that odds in front of me, but I'll throw it up here. But yeah, Poirier all day. What do you think?
I really like that pick, man. I love Dustin. He's so good. His boxing has been so good recently. Like the power in the punches he threw against McGregor, like. I don't know how Dan Hooker took a beating against him. I just don't know how Dan Hooker was standing at the end of that fight. It was
Hooker's
just
a beast,
ridiculous.
dude. It gives you more respect to Hooker the more Dustin does.
It did for a bit. Then Chandler knocked him out in 30
right.
seconds. So you kind of lose it all right there, Like,
That's true.
you don't lose it all, but, like, it kind of it takes me away from that. So I really like Poirier in this fight. If I were to I haven't taken Poirier because there's always that submission threat from Oliveira. He can grab your neck from anywhere. And I remember watching the Poirier fight against Khabib. Obviously, Khabib has the better wrestling here. But Khabib had like three chances to like submit, 3 chances to submit Poirier in that fight. So I could see Oliveira, there's a 30% chance. I give it a 70-30 on this fight that Poirier wins. And at 160, the odds are sick for Poirier. And I would just take him by KO TKO because I don't think Oliveira can last 5 rounds against Poirier. There's no way at the fight standing, and like Oliveira hasn't gone a sub yet. Poirier is definitely gonna knock him out pretty soon. I had a thought about this fight under 2.5 rounds as well, because Poirier's just gonna bring it at him, and like if Oliveira is pulled guard and Poirier goes too low, he can grab an arm, he can grab his neck. You just never know with Oliveira, so I just wanted to stay off that fight for that reason mainly. But I'll definitely sprinkle some on Poirier by KO TKO because you're getting good odds on that, and he's beaten the best out of the best,
Yeah,
and they have a pretty similar story as you said about, like they've done the same thing but from different countries.
The other wrinkle to that is depending on what the books are giving you. I think I totally agree with the minus or the under 2.5 or the under 3.5, whatever it ends up being.
Yep.
I saw an interview on Reddit about somebody asked Oliveira if he's never been to championship rounds before, if he wanted to get some experience in there, and he was like, no way, I want to get out of there early. And it seemed like he had some anxiety about possibly ending up in the championship round. So another token to put in my Poirier corner that gave me a little more confidence.
Nice. So for my number 2 pick, I'm gonna go back to the Silva and Jordan Wright fight. Jordan Wright, he's a killer in round one, but he gassed it so hard, like midway through round one. Silva has such clean striking. He has 18 knockouts under his name. Like he's knocked out everyone from Brazil to the States, So I see Silva knocking out Wright in round two. So I've taken fight does not start round three at minus 180.
Yeah, I love that. Silva, dangerous as shit on the feet, but like you said, Jordan Wright, you never know in that first round. So like covering your bases was just taking that at round. You said round three doesn't start, right?
Round three doesn't start.
Yeah, so probably you might be able to find like under 2.5, and depending on the odds, that might be the same type of play. So my number one pick of the evening, the man, the myth, Dominick Cruz, not fucking Sugar Sean O'Malley like you thought it was gonna be. Didn't make it on my top five. I think he tries to emulate Dominick Cruz, but not as good. Dominick Cruz is a guy who's always riddled with injuries, but he's a Jack Russell. He keeps coming. I think he's hungry to make another, at least try to get his name in the hat towards the top of the division. Got a win over Casey Kenny, who it doesn't have a big name, but is a tough win, and gets pushed to this Pedro Munoz fight. Pedro Munoz definitely dangerous, but in the past 5 years or so, definitely hasn't necessarily rose to the occasion when the lights were the brightest. I think fighting another legend in Dominick Cruz, I think he's really gonna struggle with this. Fucking camera turned off again, but we're gonna keep rolling because I'm a professional. And Dominick Cruz, I think his movement's just going to be too much. Pedro Munoz gets hit so much. He's got I think he gets hit like 6 times absorbs 6 strikes a minute. I think with a good volume punching plan, a good output, Dominick Cruz should be able to pull out a win here. I think he's also going to have a grappling advantage. I give Pedro Munoz a little bit of the power advantage, but if Cruz isn't injured and can put out the volume like he usually does, I think he coasts to a pretty good decision victory. I took him by money line at minus 112, but I'm super confident on Dominick Cruz to over everything, his hunger and desire and tenacity to get a win, especially a decision win in this main event spot, or in my number one spot.
I like that pick, man. For me, this fight was like too close to call, Like Dominick Cruz coming off with a good win over Casey Kenny, and Pedro Munoz fighting Jose Aldo, who's just on a different level at the moment, Like the one thing I saw in the Munoz and Aldo fight that really stood out was Aldo's leg kick defense. He checked every single kick that Munoz threw at him, and Munoz is known for his body kicks and his calf kicks. Like if he can pull those out against Cruz, I know Cruz has some unorthodox style of movement. He's constantly moving. It's going to be hard to catch him and get him in a corner. But I think if he does, those leg kicks are really going to slow him down in the later rounds. So that's the only thing that put me off this fight. Dominick Cruz, the better striking. Munoz, very hittable in the face. So he's definitely going to be touching him up. But I thought the best bet for this fight was the fight to go to decision. But I wasn't getting good money there. It was like minus 220, so that makes no sense to take it. But these guys are decision fighters. They don't really knock anyone out. Like Munoz has 2 knockouts. Cruz has like 15 decisions. So I don't see this fight ending in a knockout. But it was just too close for me to pick a fighter here. So for my number one pick, I actually have a big boy parlay here. With my first pick is Amanda Nunes by finish. Like, if you guys don't take this play for this weekend at minus 275, like, this is the play you're supposed to take. This is when Khabib fights anyone. You put money on Khabib, even though he's minus 300, So, like, Amanda Nunes by finish against Juliana Pena. She's not going to I don't think she's going to make it past round 3. So, under 3.5, round 2, round 1 finish by Nunes is also a sprinkleable option. But you're not getting great odds on that, so I don't think I'm going to touch that. But at minus 275, I've parlayed it with Sean O'Malley money line against Raulian Pavia. So I saw Sean O'Malley. I know he's going to win this fight. Like the confidence this guy has, the striking the guy has. The only thing I'm worried about is his legs. Like I see him winning 9 out of 10 times, but like only if his legs give out, one more time. They've given out twice, and he lost one. He almost lost the other one as well. So I'm just really scared that O'Malley just gets injured again instead of getting hurt by impact. But I also was worried about O'Malley finishing this fight because in his last fight against Chris Moutinho, Moutinho took a beating against him. He took a horrible beating against him, but he was still standing. I don't know. Moutinho, props to Moutinho for that. But like, I see Pavia deflecting a few of those shots. I see O'Malley not hitting him as much as he hit Moutinho. So I could see this fight go the distance. But O'Malley's not going to lose this fight. He doesn't lose. He doesn't lose unless it's a doctor stoppage, you know. So I'm getting this parlay at minus 275 for Nunez and minus 300 for O'Malley at minus 110. I'm gonna put a lot of money. I'm gonna put a lot of money on this parlay right here this weekend. I'm so confident on these two guys this weekend. So I'm just hoping and praying that O'Malley doesn't get injured. That's the only way he's gonna lose. What do you think?
I think it's probably the smartest play, especially since we've said in the past how important the UFC motivation shit goes into fights. They definitely want Sean O'Malley to win. However, I am a fucking hater. I was born a hater. I will die a hater, and I am a hater of Sean O'Malley.
That's why you didn't take him.
I don't hate. I think he might win, but I think he's overrated. I think he has kinks in his armor. I think he's a little too confident and not producing what needs to be produced to have that confidence. And I think Raulian Paiva is another one of these guys, kind of like Chito Vera for some people that it just want a kind of a foreign name. Nobody really knows too much about him, but the boy can fight, and he can fight well, and that's why at those steep odds and everything, I think odds makers and UFC and people overlook who O'Malley is fighting because of O'Malley's confidence that he can instill in people that he might be a little bit better than he is. I think if he keeps going with some experience, he will be that good, but because of that, and because I'm a hater at my core, I didn't put O'Malley in anything.
Fair. The hater makes a lot of sense because I was just all throughout the night I was just waiting for you to he could have been your number 5. He could have been your number 4. You know, like
he's not.
I was just waiting for you to say his name. But I get it. I get what you're saying. But let me tell you one more thing though. Sean O'Malley was like minus 400 against Chito Vera. He's minus 300 against Raulian Paiva. You know, like I took him against Chito Vera too. I don't know if he would have won the fight, but I took him against him because I'm a big fan. Like I'm not a hater at all. I'm a big fan. I'm on the other side of the spectrum here. So I'm gonna have to put my confidence in the man with confidence, that's Sean O'Malley, and parlay him with Amanda Nunes here.
Dude, that was a fucking bar. I'm putting my confidence in the man with confidence. That was sick, dude. That was dope.
Let's go.
With that, we'll fucking close the show. If you're still with us, leave us a like, comment, subscribe. If you made any other picks, put that down there too. If we told you to make some picks that lost you a bunch of money, call some names in the comments. Till next week, we'll see you at UFC 269, Oliveira Poirier. Keeping this fucking train rolling, dude. Make it 8 weeks in a row, 2 months, call it.
Let's go.
Making some profit. See you next week.